Hello again. This video is on expanding brackets. Well, that's a weird E, isn't it? I'll just correct that because it looks pretty crap. Okay. So expanding brackets. That's what we're doing today. In general, when you're expanding brackets, anything that's outside of a bracket, so A, that's multiplied by something inside of brackets, all we're doing is anything that's outside gets multiplied by everything that's inside. Okay, so if we do that, it's A times B, which is AB, plus A times C, plus A times C. Can you see that everything on the outside, the A, gets multiplied by everything on the inside? And secondly, if you've got double brackets like A plus B times C plus D, it's a little bit different but still the same. Everything in here gets multiplied by everything in here. In other words, you need to do all the comments. So A gets multiplied by everything. So A gets multiplied by C, A gets multiplied by D, and then you've got to do the same for B. B gets multiplied by C, and B gets multiplied by D. And this is just, you're sort of distributing A amongst B and C here. You're distributing A and B amongst C and D here. Okay? Oh, didn't actually write what this is equal to. Might as well. A times C is AC. A times D is AD. B times C is BC. And B times D, I got into a bit of rhythm there, that was a bit weird, is equal to that. And so a way that people remember this second one is by using FOIL. And FOIL stands for, just write it down because it's downwards, makes it a bit easier to see. FOIL stands for firsts, outers, inners, and lasts. So you multiply the first together, so the A and the C. Can you see how they're the firsts of the brackets? Then we multiply the outers together, the outsides of the brackets, A and D. Then the inners, the insides of the brackets, B and C, the closest ones to each other. And lasts, the last of the brackets, B and D. And that's a handy way to remember it. Some people remember it with the sort of, it looks like a claw or something like that, or dragon or something. Anyway, that's one way to remember it. But let's just get into some examples. Much easier to see. Let's do this. Example, -3 times x plus 7. Okay, let's expand this out. Firstly, we've just got one number out the front, -3, that needs to go to everything inside the bracket. So it needs to be multiplied by that x. Also needs to be multiplied by that positive 7. So just think of this as two terms here. You've got a positive x there, and you've got a positive 7. Get this right. Very, very important. So let's multiply the first thing. What's -3 times x? -3 times x is just -3x. Okay, we don't bother writing the multiplied. Nextly, we've got -3 times positive 7. -3 times positive 7. A negative times a positive will be a negative, and 3 times 7 is 21. And so that is your answer. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do 5x plus 2 minus 3x plus 1. Let's just do that one. Okay, now this at the moment is not expanded, just a bunch, two terms are sort of just tacked on to the end. Okay, but what we do need to do is to expand this rubbish here. How do we expand that? Well, that's 5 times x, and then we also need to do that. What are the two terms here? We've got x there and positive 2 there. I should do an example with negative there to see if I can screw anyone up. So here we go. What's 5 times x? That's 5x. What's 5 times positive 2? That's positive 10. And then we just have this rubbish on the end. Minus 3x plus 1. Okay, and we just need to collect like terms. We've got a 5x here and a minus 3x there. 5x minus 3x is 2x. Then we've got this positive 10, positive 1 is positive 11, which is your answer. Okay, do a bit more tricky example, and then I'll do some FOIL. Just one more. So -3 2x minus 1 plus 2 bracket x minus 3. Okay, let's expand this one out. Again, it's just two separate pieces, and so what we need to do is multiply the negative 3 by the 2x and the negative 3 by the negative 1. Okay, just remember that's a negative 1. We're looking at the two terms here. Our terms over here are x and negative 3 that we're multiplying by. Okay, so let's do this one piece at a time. Negative 3 times 2x is going to be negative 6x. Negative 3 times negative 1. Negative times a negative is a positive, and 3 times 1 is 3. Okay, so that's that first bracket successfully expanded. Just pat myself on the back. Now, we've got positive 2 times x. What's positive 2 times x? Positive 2x. And what's positive 2 times negative 3? Positive times a negative is a negative, and 2 times 3 is 6. There we go, looking good. Let's just simplify this now. We've got a negative 6x, positive 2x is equal to negative 4x. And we've got positive 3 minus 6 is equal to negative 3. And that's your answer, Sunny Jim. Fantastic. Let's go into a FOIL sort of situation. So let's do that. X plus 5, x minus 1. Okay, so let's expand this out. Remember FOIL. FOIL tells you need to multiply the firsts together, you need to multiply the outers together, you need to multiply the inners together, and you need to multiply the lasts together. And let me just circle the terms here. You've got negative 1, you've got x there, and you've got positive 5. So let's be really clear as to what each of the pieces of the puzzle are. So, I'll write FOIL underneath this once I've done it to show you what we've got. In fact, let me just write them there. So, FOIL, F-O-I-L, and I'll do it in pink, because we love pink, above it. In fact, I'll go to blue or something, because look at that. So, firsts, let's multiply x by x. What's x times x? It's x squared. So that's our f, that's our FOIL, f of FOIL. What are the outer ones? Let's have a look at this. X times negative 1. What's x times negative 1? That's negative 1x. Okay, so that's our outers done. What are our inners? We've got positive 5 times x. That's positive 5x. That's our I term. And L, what are our lasts? We've got positive 5 times negative 1. Positive times a negative is a negative, and 1 times 5 is 5, so that's our last term. So we can segment it and break it up into those 4 pieces if you want. And so once we've got that, we can just simplify. What have we got? We've got one x squared term there, so that'll just be x squared. We've got negative 1x plus 5x. They are like terms, we need to simplify those. Negative 1 plus 5 will be positive 4x. And we've got this constant term there, which won't get simplified anyway. So that is your answer. X squared plus 4x minus 5. Okay, I'll just do one more example of that, and then we'll move on, because time is of the essence. Last example. Let's do a hard one, shall we? Okay, 2a minus 3 times 4a plus 6. Okay, let's do this one. Let's expand. I'll go a bit quicker this time. Okay, so just remember firsts, outers, inners, lasts. Let's do it. Okay, firsts. What's 2a times 4a? 2 times 4 is 8. A times a is a squared. So 8a squared. Should I just do this? I better do it because you're still learning and don't want to muck up. Okay, so that times that. What's 2a times positive 6? 2a times positive 6 is positive 12a. Good. What's negative 3 times 4a? Negative times positive is negative 12a. Okay, so negative 3 times 4, so that's negative 12, and we've just got that a sitting there. Last one, we've got negative 3 times positive 6 is negative 18. Good. Now let's just simplify this guy. Is equal to, well, there's only one a squared term, so that'll just sit there. It doesn't simplify, 8a squared. But then we've got this positive 12a and this negative 12a, and in fact they actually cancel out to 0. Positive 12 oranges minus 12 oranges equals 0 oranges, okay? Minus 18, which is your answer. And expanding. I'll leave you to it. Have fun.